Christmas, Merry Christmas. I am your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord New Thor 7, and it is a beautiful spring day. Okay, I'm going to start this out by saying, smoke 'em if you got 'em, and then I'm going to warn you that for the next week of Thor News, I'll be doing a fundraiser, and I need to apologize from the bottom of my heart. I broke my word. I told the 6 people I still owe t-shirts to that I would have them to them by Christmas. I'm going to do everything I can to get them to you by the first of the year. They're like an albatross around my neck that I trust me. I want to get it done. I'm going to get it done. It's just sending out 6 t-shirts, man. It's only like $50, and I got that in. Okay, so I'll do that. But yeah, I'm going to do a fundraiser through the week, 9 days, just for the 8th year of Thor News going into 2020. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thor News. Merry Christmas. All right, here's the deal. I figured out. Smoke if you got them. This is pure Asteroid Fight Club material. If you're not top level, super smart, super cool, super awesome, with a great sense of humor, this is probably not the information you're looking for. If you're not ready to think about stuff, you don't like thinking about stuff, then I don't know what to do. Okay, so as I've been mentioning, on the 12th, we have a conjunction with Saturn, which is Saturn, man. Like every single religion or society or civilization knew what Saturn was, okay? It's in the sky. You can see it. I'm sure at times you can see its moons, and each planet does give off a vibe. And so Saturn is real and legit. We know that. It's a thing. It's a planet, a wanderer in the sky. And then Pluto. And Pluto's kind of always represented the underworld. Some would say death. Some would just say the hidden world. And so we have a conjunction between like Jupiter over here, Saturn over here, and then Pluto over here. Saturn and Pluto are going to line up. And so right now, Saturn, oddly enough, represents the people. And then Pluto represents like the underworld, the hidden world. Occult actually means hidden, or it used to. Okay. And so we are leading up to that. And today, the NASDAQ hit 10,000. So if you're one of those investor type people, yay, you are now richer today than you were yesterday. But if you'll take the Zimbabwe stock market chart where it started doing this, and then it goes up like that, and you lay over the NASDAQ or the S&P or the Dow Jones, it's kind of on the same Zimbabwe curve line where how much currency can the governments print before the currency becomes worthless? I mean, got a lot of examples of every time it happens. The stalwart, Joe, always likes to point out that whether it's a fiat currency or not, usually currencies explode at some point anyway. So you've never had a good currency throughout history that stand the test of time. But through all the failed currencies throughout history, you've never had a global currency fail. And so if a global currency fails, all supply lines break down, and it's absolute biblical lawlessness. It's the purge. It's like a giant zombie film with better dialogue for sparse moments, and then it becomes streets slick with slaughter. Mothers bashing their babies against the wall so they don't have to hear their cries of hunger anymore. Rape, murder become the currency. It's a really fucking ugly scenario if no plan is put into place. And I know the naysayers have said people can't work together. The 13, the 6, and the 300 can't work it out. It can't be done. But you know what, man? We are in Groundhog Day. We're still in 1999, and we've been in 1999 for 20 years. We're stuck on the cusp of the future, hanging on to these old archaic systems that got us this far. And definitely over the next 9 months, they might get you super richer or get some people super rich that have never been rich before. But it is clear, and it should be crystal clear to everyone, with the United States at 23 trillion in debt, the Federal Reserve's balance sheet continuing to grow, stock markets mirroring the debt, and global banks around the world doing some version of the same thing we're doing. It's got to be clear to everybody that this is not sustainable. And so we just had our full, total solar eclipse a couple hours ago, and it was beautiful and pink. Ooh. And so what really happens is we have the Christmas eclipse has now kicked off this period where Pluto and Saturn are having their party, and they're figuring shit out. Hopefully. Technically, I think I partially represent Saturn and Jupiter, so I'm going to do my best not to say some dumb shit and make situations worse. Sound great? Wonderful. Okay. I hope you're having a great day. And then after that, I think it's in December, Saturn and Pluto will be perfectly aligned, also conjunct. And I think that is going to have ramifications on A, everything, B, earthquakes, C, volcanoes, and D, weird weather. And so Jupiter and Saturn align pretty much every 20 years, and then Pluto and Saturn align like every 36 years. And so if you go back to 20 years, we're in 1999, man. So last time we had a major conjunction between the two gas giants was 1999, if I'm doing my math correct. So I went in the JPL orbital, and I went back to 1800, and I went all the way forward and tried to map them out. It seemed like they were in 20-year intervals. So if you go back 36 years from that, that was 1984. That was like the year, the sci-fi year. And so has the world changed dramatically since 1984? Absolutely, heck yes. There's no debate. I mean, I'm sure there's like one or two idiots out there who are going to debate the world really hasn't changed at all. Nothing new under the sun. Right. And has the world changed in 20 years? Yes, absolutely, while staying the same. You know, we've become, the National Enquirer has taken over our media. Well, here's what happened, man. I think in 2008, you had the financial collapse. There were like 7 banks failed in the same day. And so our government handed them a blank check. And this was after the genius idea of invading Iraq. So for 10 years, it seems like the people who got all that money used that money to totally buy up not only the media, but then social media. All right, so for the last decade, all that the trillions of dollars, the billionaires used it to like buy up the media. And so during this time where the media, we're talking social media, all of them, they have a tight grip on the narrative. And coincidentally, stock markets have just freaking gone through the roof. It's, you know, so we are in a very precarious position. Did I use that word correctly? And I think we're going to see some amazing things over the next 3 weeks. What are they going to be? I don't know. I was hoping for some really great signs at or before Christmas, and right now the best one we have is that North Korea didn't nuke us, which isn't that great, and that the Nasdaq hit 10,000, and so it is increasing at exponential levels. We are really hockey sticking, man. Like, I don't know. So just count on it to stay really weird. And that there's going to be big change coming one way or another. And so I've always recommended we work together. I would guess that the markets are going to at least crash or majorly correct by April. The Federal Reserve has been doing market operations since the middle of September. You can't have two concurrent running deficits for too long, I don't think, especially when everything is hockey sticking straight up. And remember, like, in some weird way, no, I'm not talking about socialism. I'm just talking about imagination math. If you can do it without buzzwords triggering you, imagine all the resources of the world. When you print money, that doesn't make more trees, that doesn't make more water, that doesn't make more. It just becomes more money. But look at it either way. Like, separate the money, which redefines the resources and their value to humans, to just how much money has been printed since in the last 20 years. Like, our monetary base has probably gone up possibly 36 times what it used to be. And so the entire world has been flush with cash, but the markets are able, you have like your central banks here who print all this money. And basically it all gets siphoned off by the markets. And that there are very few people in the markets and our market holders. Few people know that, like, America and Americans own 33% of all the American stocks. So, of all the stocks in our markets that are held, they're held by people outside of our country. And so we are totally susceptible to, after this rapid expansion, we're just totally susceptible to at least half of that money being drained out of our country almost overnight. Technically, it would trigger the stop, so it would take like 5 days to drain about 50%. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying we are at the cusp of the next decade, and where are our leaders? That's what I would like to know. That, wow, the only real plan is people working together. Like, why are we fighting with Russia? Why is Pakistan fighting with India? Why is ISIS fighting with the West? You know, I used to think it was the dumbest shit I ever heard any man said, when back in the day the Taliban was like, we're gonna destroy the West. I was like, look, dude, you cannot destroy a direction. And so fast forward 15 years later, and all the time I hear people talking about, like, we will destroy liberals or we'll destroy conservatives, that they are the enemy. And it's like, dude, you were talking about the guy driving your bus. You were talking about like 3 out of the 6 cashiers at your Walmart. You were talking about like half your, like, you're talking about regular average motherfucking people. And so everybody just seems to be mad at everybody else, and it is getting us motherfucking nowhere. And so turning this blame system war back onto each other is getting us absolutely fucking nowhere. That whether it is going to be Trump in the next election or Biden or who else, it's not enough, man. We need real plans, and we need them now. The whole world needs a new plan. The whole world is in $260 trillion worth of debt. And so we can either keep our heads buried in the sand or we can work together. And I feel mildly crazy because at times I feel like I'm the only person even talking about us working together. So who knows? But just remember, once the dam breaks, you can't put the damn water back in. Merry Christmas. Yeah, it's gonna be fucking weird, dude. And so the negative gossiping and throwing dirt on people who disagree with you and every like we need solutions bigger than an election. Just like in Europe, didn't change a thing. You know, we've got like a year, 9 months to figure this shit out. And the clock is ticking. And the only thing that works is working together. And that anyone who gives you any other plan other than us all working together is working for themselves or their group that is selling you something. Because go take the fucking Dow Jones and the NASDAQ and lay it over a Zimbabwe stock market when it exploded. We are real close. We've been redlining it since 2018. So, yeah, I know what's happening. I'm doing my best. So I just want to say I love you guys and expect it to get weird. All right? Stay cool. God bless everyone. And do your best. Fantastic.